friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me discussing the books that I plan to read in the month of May. This time I kept my pretty by that meaning May is API month, which is Asian Pacific Islander month, for those of you guys who are unaware, and I wanted to go ahead and pick up books that I've been meaning to pick up by Filipino authors. Now I don't own these books just quite yet. I'm going to run to the store, my secondhand store, sometime this week and next week to pick up the books. So I only own 2 books, and that's because one of them is not an API book, but it's a buddy read because Kate and I are forgetful beings. And the other one is a reread of one of my favorite books of all time. So let's just get into it. Let's start off with the books that's not an API read, and that book is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. If you guys don't know, I picked up A Darker Shade of Magic last year around July for a buddy read, and I really enjoyed it, and I have been trying to pick up the second book for a while, and Kate was like, yeah, let's buddy read it. We were supposed to buddy read that in March. It is now going to be May in a couple of days. So you can see how well this works. We forgot. But if you guys don't know, this is a sequel to A Darker Shade of Magic. This is a new adult book. I like to say new adult. It's under adult, but it reads more new adult, and I think we need more new adult, so I'm going to categorize it as new adult. It's a new adult read following young Kel, who is the only traveler. This is A Darker Shade of Magic, one second. This is following young Kel, who is one of the few travelers left in their kind of world. He can travel between the parallel dimensions of London, each with a varying degree of how well they're able to use magic. I believe he resides in Red London, but in the other Londons there's some people who can do magic, some people who can't, and then in certain Londons I believe it's White London, where you cannot do any kind of magic at all. So he is kind of traversing through trying to find the specific, he's not doing great things. But after the second book, it's been pretty much it seems like it's supposed to be just a standalone, and it was thus expanded into a trilogy, I believe. I'm picking up the second book, which is A Gathering of Shadows, and buddy reading that with Kate this month. We're starting on the second, so hopefully we don't forget, but we have a lot of room for error because it's been 2 months since we were supposed to start this book, so wish us luck, because we're gonna need it. The next book is the reread that I was talking about, and that is The Everlasting Nora by Marie Miranda Cruz. This was I believe a 2018 release. This is a middle grade book, so it's a very short and easy read, and I'll probably be reading it alongside A Gathering of Shadows just to give myself some breathing room as I'm buddy reading. But this is, like I said, a middle grade contemporary novel following young Nora, who is currently residing in Manila's biggest shantytowns. And a shantytown is kind of where the homeless kind of go to live, and in the Philippines it's in cemeteries. This one is in Manila Cemetery, I believe, and she's currently living in one after she and her mother lost her father and their home in a fire. One day, however, Nora's mother goes missing, and now Nora has to embark on this very adult-like journey to find her mother and find out exactly where she is and why she went missing. I love this book. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I mention it a lot on this channel, at least once a year, and I read this once. I've only read this book once, and that was back when it first came out, I believe in 2018. So it's time for me to pick it up again and give it a nice little reread. But I'm very excited to get back into this. I think it's a wonderful book, and it's a sadder middle grade book, which makes me kind of sad because sometimes I feel like some young little child will read this hoping to see some of the Filipino culture, which they will, but they'll also see the very sad part of it, which is that some children have to grow up very, very early to kind of assist their parents in things that they did not have control over. But still one of my favorite books of all time, and I cannot wait to be rereading this. So the next book is actually a new release. It's coming out next Wednesday. It's on the 4th. I'm assuming it's a Tuesday because we end the week on, I think, the 2nd of the month. I could be wrong. This is Arsenic in Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. This is an adult contemporary kind of rom-com situation. After a really bad breakup, Lila decides to move back home with her parents to help them kind of save the restaurant and try for herself to find a way to get over this breakup through manual labor, as one typically does. Throughout this journey, she is just trying to find herself and help with this restaurant, while her titas are trying to kind of matchmake her up with random single people at work. That is until one day her ex-boyfriend comes to the restaurant and orders food, and then just drops dead. Now, being the ex-girlfriend, she is the only suspect in this murder case, and as she's kind of getting a little upset that the police haven't been doing their job, she takes matters into her own hands and tries to figure out who killed her boyfriend. It's the first in the series. It's a debut author, debut novel duh. But I'm so excited. It sounds so lovely, and this cover is amazing. And apparently Mia already has the cover and the back cover for the second book, which she will be releasing in her newsletter. So I'm super excited. It's very Filipino. I'm so stoked. You guys have no idea. I'm gonna literally run after work and like pick up the book and then run and then maybe take a shower and start reading, because Tuesdays is mine and my boyfriend's like we watch a movie or a TV show kind of day. So, and everything comes out on a Tuesday too. So I'm just sitting here like, there went all my binging possibilities. The next book is The Farm by Joan Ramos. This is an adult kind of medical dystopian novel following a young girl named Jane who's an immigrant and who kind of joins the farm. Now what the farm is that single pregnant women can go join the farm and live there for 9 months. And at the end of the 9 months, should they stay the entire time, they will get a big reward that'll help them with the rest of their child, like, you know, having a child, as you know, the difficulties of having a child this day and age. However, as the months pass on, Jane begins to miss her outside world, and while she's kind of struggling to deal with this fact, she doesn't want to lose out on the big reward, though she's starting to see that there might be something a little bit more sinister underneath this entire kind of farm situation. Now my roommate, she loves this book. She's been trying to get me to read this book for a while now, and I've been like putting it off. Why? I don't know, but that's just the person that I am. Like I said, I've heard good things about it from my friend, and she typically has like pretty like good taste, and our tastes do line up when we do read the same books. So I'm probably gonna find it in my secondhand bookstore, hopefully, and I'll be going ahead and picking it up this month. The next book is one that I'm kind of like not torn to because the book doesn't sound good, but I don't know if I want to choose between this book or a different one, but I chose this one because I really like the cover. But that is The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. This is a YA, I believe, high fantasy novel following a young girl who somehow accidentally brings her brother back to life. And because of this somehow magical ability of hers, she finds that she's not exactly like the other witches in her family. In fact, it makes her a bone witch. And this new title somehow brings her to become ostracized within her community, and she finds solace in an older bone witch who is kind of going to teach her the ways of the bone witches, which apparently is a very rare thing in their community. Now, as she's training and honing and putting everything she has into this training, darker forces soon come to their village, has her put in the middle, and has her forced to make a choice. Now, I just realized I didn't say the actual character's name, which I'm dumb. Now, it's spelled T, like T-E-A, like T, pero I want to say Thea, because it makes more sense in my brain to say Thea than T. So, I'm hoping I'm right, so I'm gonna text Kate later and we'll just pop in somewhere on the top whether or not I'm right or wrong. And the last book is Something in Between by Melissa de la Cruz. If you guys don't know who Melissa de la Cruz is, she's a pretty, like, I think she's a pretty established author by now. She wrote The Witches of East End, which has become a popular TV show, and wrote the middle grade novel series, which eventually led to Disney asked her to write this, which eventually led to the very well-known TV movie series called The Descendants. She's also written my sister's favorite vampire kind of novel series, which is Blue Bloods, which I've been meaning to pick up, which I will pick up sometime soon, because my sister doesn't read a lot, so when she said a book is good, I'm gonna take her word for it. But this is a YA contemporary following young Jasmine Santos. She's done everything. She's done everything to make her parents happy. She's gotten good grades, good scholarships, everything. That is until she signs up for the National Award Scholarships, I believe, and finds out that her parents are undocumented, I should say, that their visas are expired for years. Now, with time running out before they get deported, Jasmine starts to do everything that she has been holding herself back from doing. That is until she meets the Congresswoman's son, Royce Blakely. As she meets him, she starts to question how she fits into this kind of very restrictive form of the American dream, and what that means for her, and how she can make the rules work for herself when she herself does not lie within the rules that America has given her. It sounds very interesting. I haven't heard much of Melissa de la Cruz writing something based on Filipino culture and having a Filipino character. From my knowledge thus far, Witches of East End featured a white character. We all know Descendants featured as a white character. And Blue Bloods, I believe, also features a white character. I mean, the girl's name is Skylar, and it's spelled like Schuyler. But I'm excited to pick up this book. It sounds super interesting, and I'm excited to see how Melissa de la Cruz writes in a more YA setting. So I'll be picking this up at the stores probably the same day I go to pick up Arsenic and Adobo. But that is it for the books I plan on reading in the month of May. And thankfully, I do plan on vlogging all of May to kind of capture all my thoughts as I'm reading books with my face on them. Not like explicitly my face on them, but books by authors with a similar face to mine, or characters with a similar face to mine and a similar culture to mine. We all know I'm going to get emotional, and it's going to be hilarious catching all of that on camera. But if you guys have read any of these books or would like me to prioritize any of these books, sooner rather than later, please let me know in the comments down below and I'll pick those up. I'll also try to have like a review for at least one of these books, probably Arsenic and Adobo, because like I'm obsessed. But until next time, hit like, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Bye.